Hi, my name is Father Joe Menkhaus, and this is the St. Bernadette Parish Westlake podcast. As a parish family, this podcast is a way that we share our story of faith in Jesus Christ. Join us as we dive deeper into the mysteries of our Catholic faith and the reasons for our joy, especially our hope in the love of God. Hello, brothers and sisters. This is Father Joe, your parochial vicar, with another episode of the St. Bernadette Parish Westlake podcast, joined by co-host Trapper Jack. Trapper, how we doing?
We are doing well. We meet God in a lot of different ways, don't we, Father?
We sure do.
Encounter Him here, there, and everywhere. Who knew that you could encounter Him so powerfully in your backyard?
Tell us about this.
Well, you know, there's a fellow knight, Tom Kennish, and he and I get in these great conversations about his little hobby, honeybees.
An interesting hobby.
Interesting hobby. So I had no idea the hand of God in these little creatures. So that's where we want to go today.
I know they're definitely in the scriptures, but I have a feeling Tom's going to be able to tell us a lot more about that.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, Tom, welcome to the podcast.
Good morning, Father. Good morning, Trapper.
Thanks so much for being with us. And I'm going to kind of hand this over to Trapper because you guys have sort of had this conversation before, and I'm not really sure where we're going. So, Trapper, take it over.
Well, one of the things, we're supposed to proclaim God in a lot of different ways, including nature. It's out there. So when I would talk to Tom, and Tom has this wonderful little, would you call it a hobby? What do you call this, Tom? Honeybees.
It's just a backyard hobby is all it is.
How many of them you got?
Well, during the height of the summer, I'll have about 150,000 screaming little Italian girls in my backyard.
And how do you count them?
One by one.
Yeah. Do they line up nicely?
They do. I numbered them all.
Now, what's going to be amazing about this, Father, and you're looking at me with puzzlement, I'm blind, but I can hear your puzzlement, is that when Tom started talking to me about all the different duties honeybees have, there's just no way this is random. Okay. There's just no way this is all random.
We're talking intelligent design.
Oh my gosh, is there intelligent design behind this? And if you don't see it, then something's amiss. And so Tom and I have this conversation a lot. A little bit about your background first. You've been here at Bernadette's how long, and just kind of your basic faith upbringing here.
My parents moved to North Olmsted in 1964. And my mom was looking for a church, and St. Richard said they were full to find another church, and here we've been ever since.
And as far as your upbringing, always a good Catholic boy, wander away, anything like that?
I've been always a good Catholic boy.
Didn't wander away too far.
We don't have enough time for this podcast.
Okay.
But I was married in the church, my wife and I, 42 years. We were married here in 1983. So we've been hanging around quite a few years.
And speaking of marriage and weddings, it was actually looking ahead to potentially your daughter's wedding that leads to honeybees. Tell the story.
It does. My wife and I, we raised 3 children. I have 2 sons and my daughter, Catherine. And growing up as a child, when she was a child, and I always told her I wanted to have a big Catholic wedding, church, and I was going to bathe the church in flowers. And I planted that seed many times in her head. So as she aged and she grew, she was involved with a gentleman for many years before they were married. For some reason, I started looking at bees and just studying them a little bit. And I came up with a crazy notion. I said to her, if you marry in the church, I'll make the candles for your wedding. Part of the reason was because at one time the Catholic, and the candles still today are a good portion of pure beeswax, but I just felt it was a nice tie-in because with the church and the wax candles and things like that, I had no idea how much wax I was going to need to make candles, nor was I ever able to collect enough wax to make her candle. I made candles, but not for the wedding. And
but the honeybee fascination continued for you anyway.
Did. I cut down 2 trees in my backyard, and I went and took some.
That was to clear out your area, right?
And I went out and took some basic intro classes and said to Mrs. Kennish, I said, hey, guess what? I just bought 10,000 bees for our backyard.
So you got a box of bees?
I started with a box of bees about 5 years ago this year.
How does one
10,000 bees in a backyard sounds like a nightmare.
I know, doesn't it? Because you're thinking stinging. How do I sell this to the wife? How did you sell this to your wife?
That's a secret. Mrs. Kennish puts up with Ruth, my dear wife, puts up a lot of my crazy ideas. And this is one of the many that I've introduced to her.
And how does one buy a box of bees?
In the spring, you can buy bees, or if you the right places and beekeeping houses.
I thought you were going to say Amazon.
No. Most of the bees start out. They come out of either Georgia or California in the spring, and they'll sell you a whole package. It's considered a package of bees.
And does the queen come with that?
You can buy it with or without the queen, but you need a queen. The queen runs the show. The queen is the head of the hive, and without her, the hive will not survive.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about this. This is where it really gets interesting to me, because all the different jobs bees have. So go into this. So you got a queen, which was made somehow. How was a queen made? She
is if you have a queen, a hive that has a queen is considered queen right, and if there's not a queen in place, then they're not up in order and what have you. The hive can create a new queen on their own if they're unhappy with their current queen, or as she ages out and things like that, they'll prepare the hive for a new queen, and they'll build what they call a queen cup. And a queen cup is a larger cell for the next queen to be born in. She'll lay an egg within that queen cup, and then the worker, the nurse bees and what have you, will start to prepare that cup or that bee to be the next queen. They'll create what they call royal jelly, which they feed which the new queen will eat.
See, right there, it's like, how do they know?
I'm like,
how do they know?
My jaw's on the floor.
How do they know? It's like royal jelly. Where do you get that stuff? Giant Eagle. Okay, so they get this royal jelly and they put that in there.
Right.
And somehow the queen gets birthed, and
the queen emerges.
And what does she look for first? She needs to make some babes, right?
Yes, she does.
So she heads up into the air. So let's go through that.
Well, within the hive itself, there's all the different workers. Obviously, the queen is the head of the household, and it's all based on pheromones. It's all scent and pheromones. You have worker bees, you have guard bees, you have funeral bees.
You want to know what a funeral bee is?
I have a feeling I know what they do.
Okay, go ahead.
The funeral bees take out the bees that have passed out to the front and toss them out the front door, as it were.
Okay.
Or the entrance of a hive.
They keep it clean.
They keep it clean. That's their job.
Nurse bees. What's a nurse bee?
A nurse bee is when a bee is born. Their first responsibility is to clean the cell out that they were born from. They need to prepare for the next bee to be born or to be dropped into that cell.
To be or not to be?
Mm-hmm. That is the question.
The queen herself will lay, in the height of summer, she'll lay about 1,000 eggs a week for incoming bees, because a bee's life in the summer is about 6 to 8 weeks long.
That's it.
So they don't have a terribly long lifespan in the summer. So you're going back to the idea of a queen, and so once we have a new queen, she will emerge, and then from that, she will normally kill off the previous queen. So one hive, one queen. It's just a one woman show.
It's a bloody coup. It's a bloody
That's
coup.
Right.
Okay.
So after that, then the queen, obviously, you need the term is a mated queen. So at that point, she will go on a mating flight. Historically, she'll take, or what I understand, she'll take 3 drones with her.
Those are the guys.
The drones are the males.
This is their only job.
They have two jobs. They eat honey, hang around the hive, and wait to see if they get called upon. She'll take 3 drones on a mating flight. Unfortunately, if they mate with the queen, they don't come back. That's their only job, and is to mate with the queen
and die. Okay, but they leave part of themselves in her.
They will leave their schmeckle, if I can use that term, within the queen, and that acts as a plug.
This is nuts. This is just so nuts.
That she doesn't lose what she needs to take back to the hive to lay more eggs.
So, okay.
Very Christocentric.
See?
Christ comes down, he gives us himself, and then he goes back.
Okay. So, let's say you got 3 or 4 of these guys. You got Bob, Jim, Harry, and Tom.
Sure.
Okay, so the first guy dies.
Yep.
And the other 3 are going, what happened to Bob? What happened to Bob? And then, okay, Jim, your turn.
Yep.
Okay.
So she will only go on 1 mating flight in a lifetime.
That's it.
That's it. And she will keep all their seed within her, and she comes back to the hive, and that's where she'll spend the rest of her life.
How long does the queen bee survive? Is she also 6 to 8 weeks?
No, gosh, no. She can last 3 to 4 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
okay.
She has a long lifespan. You can get I'm sorry, go ahead.
What makes a queen bee a queen bee? Like, how does she have the predetermined?
Because of her size and what she was fed in the queen cup.
Okay.
But even the planning in that, just one. And if another one pops up, there's going to be a fight.
There's going to be a fight.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking, you've got 10,000 bees in your backyard, but only one of them is the queen.
1 queen per hive. I have 4 hives.
Oh, okay.
So
Now here's the crazy. I'm going to watch this. Watch this.
I'm ready.
Okay, so let's say Tom moves one of those hives 2 feet.
Yes.
What happens, Tom?
the bees, certainly after they're born and things like that, they'll come out and do what they refer to as an orientation flight. And it's basically they will come out and they will fly around the hive, and they'll use the sun and location as to where they're at.
So when you say orientation, this is where I live, this is where everything happens, is right here.
Right.
Okay.
So you can move a hive up to figure a foot at the most at a time, because if you move it farther than that, it disorients them and they don't know where to go.
Wow.
They have no idea where home is. So they call it an orientation flight as they come out and circle the hive. And they use the sun, and that's about the only thing that they use is the sun and the hive itself.
And again, God's hand again. It's not like they're out there going, let's see, the sun is at 38 degrees. It's all. They're running the program. They're just running a program.
They are, but think about this: that hive, the hive never changes the location, but the sun does as the summer comes on. In the early summer, my hives get a lot of morning sun, and then this late August, September, they get more afternoon sun on the back of the hive. So the sun changes its the way it hits the hive, and they have to account and calculate for that because they can travel up to 1.5 miles away from the hive
and be able to return.
Wow.
I don't think my parents' dogs would do that.
I know. My parents worried about me when I was a child growing up if I could return to home.
And all the queen's doing is laying eggs. That's it, right? Just laying eggs.
During the summer, like I said, she'll lay up to 1,000 eggs a day.
So you have these hives in your backyard just totally exposed, or are they encased in some way? Or?
No, they're open to there's the front entrance is what they come in.
So can you have a cookout in your backyard or no?
Absolutely.
Really?
Come on over.
They'll leave you alone?
Didn't say that.
No.
Want a burger? Ouch. How about a hot dog? Ouch.
It's because if I tell people that you just have 150,000 bees in your backyard, everybody thinks they all come out at the same time, but they don't. And truth of the matter is, they're very docile creatures. They don't. If I'm hanging around the backyard, they'll headbutt me. They'll ping me in the head just to remind me that
they're there.
That they're there and I'm there.
You wear one of those beekeeper things?
This morning I was out talking to my bees, and I popped open the top and said good morning to him. And I had no gear, no veil, no gloves, just saying good morning, bees. I got to go talk about bees.
But they know you.
They do.
I was going to say, do they have an awareness of you in a way that they wouldn't be aware of me?
They say they know the beekeeper.
Okay.
They say the bees know the beekeepers. But truth of the matter is, in the spring when we started out, I have a whole new collection of bees because if they live 6 to 8 weeks, they have a very short lifespan.
And so are they maintained throughout the winter as well, or what happens?
They stay in the hive all winter.
Wow.
They'll ball up. A cluster of bees will ball together to generate heat.
Okay.
They flex their wings or their muscles and things, and they'll keep that hive 85, 90 degrees all year long.
Wow.
So we have fan bees, and the fan bees are responsible for, if the hive is too hot, they'll fan by the entrance to bring air
conditioning.
Air conditioning.
Air conditioning bees. It's
fascinating that somehow in the economy of these little creatures, they're able to build up a whole civilization, basically.
Also that you can enjoy honey.
Yeah. Where does honey come from?
From the bees, of course.
Yeah, but how?
Where's it come out of?
There's pollen and pollination.
Well, the primaries, they collect pollen and nectar and things like that. They have a honey stomach, and they regurgitate it, for lack of a better term.
Oh, so we're
out of their
eating bee vomit.
I guess okay.
I guess okay.
Put that in your tea, friends.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
But
so they have another stomach too, though? They have two stomachs?
Yes. But on the flip side of that, bees are very, very clean. They will not defecate inside their hive. The term that they use is a cleansing flight. And if you look at the front of my suit at times, you'll see that I've been defecated on many times.
So they all have to leave to do that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
But on a daily basis, as far as the bees that are out pollinating, and we should talk about that too, because we're not eating most of what we're eating without these little critters.
With anything that has a flower that needs to be pollinated, from tomatoes, cucumbers.
Pretty much any fruit or vegetable?
Any fruit or vegetable, a pumpkin, anything that has a flower and pollen, the bees are responsible for to pollinate.
Interesting.
Which is why, in living in California for a while, and you mentioned Georgia's another place for this too, you'll see semis doing what?
They'll take semis full of bee hives to different, in Georgia it's the peach trees that they want to pollinate.
Yeah.
And in California it's the almonds.
Huh.
So, and after the pollination or after the season, they have all these bees, and that's where if you want a package of bees, that's where they come from.
So then they move the hive and throw off the bees real bad.
They land them for a few days. They do, yeah.
Wow.
But during moving them, they literally screen them in so that the bees can't leave the hive itself.
Okay. Wow.
Okay, so they go out, they cross-pollinate everything, they come back to the hives, and all of this, whether it's a nurse bee or a cross-pollinator or a funeral bee, whatever, it's all the same bee. It's just what, different part of their lives?
Just different part of they start out as a nurse bee. The worker bees or the foraging bees are at the end of their life cycle. So that, because unfortunately, if they get lost, if they're eaten by a bird or another creature, losing one is not as bad as a young bee.
Now, liturgically speaking, Father, do you know why you have beeswax candles at a mass, let's say?
No.
Why is that, Tom?
It is the cleanest and the brightest burning wax that you'll find.
That makes sense.
Which is why it has to be. And do you know, where does the wax come from?
From the younger bees, or the bees that build the comb for the queen to lay eggs and or for them to store honey.
Where does that come from on the bee?
They secrete it. I don't know the exact name of.
Oh, I thought you told me that. I thought it came off their backs or something.
No,
You don't know where?
I don't know the proper
Okay.
anatomical term. No.
Okay. So they're so they got honey coming out of them. They got wax coming out of them.
The younger bees secrete an older bee cannot secrete wax.
Interesting.
It's
Do you know why?
No.
Because they're old.
Yeah. Just they each has a different role.
Interesting. I mean, I do know that like the candles that we burn here are beeswax.
Certain percentage or something has to be.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I know that like the totally beeswax candles are like yellow as opposed to like the white.
Sure.
Or like the Easter candles, more wax or more beeswax. I mean, there's probably some kind of percentage
So-
laws or something, right?
Ours are not,
Yeah.
just because they're way more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I'm fascinated, like I said, by the economy that these things seem to be able to develop. And I've heard throughout the scriptures, bees are quoted or mentioned many times. I pulled up on our ChatGPT AI shop.
Well, who was it? Samson that the honey was inside the animal that was killed. I'm
It
trying to remember.
says Samson finds honey in the carcass of a lion, a strange and powerful symbol of sweetness and life coming from death.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some reality there. There's in the Exalted, the Easter blessing that we sing over the candle at the Easter Vigil. We talk about the work of bees and of servants' hands and evening sacrifice of praise, which is the result of the wax creating the candle. The promised land is described as a land flowing with milk and honey. God's decrees are sweeter also than honey. Interestingly, in the scriptures, when they're actually referencing bees, it seems to mostly be a symbol of enemies or overwhelming forces. So in Deuteronomy, it talks about the Amorites chased you as bees do, an image of persistence and swarming attack. And then in Psalm 118, they surrounded me like bees. They blaze like a fire of thorns, where they represent enemies that seem countless and threatening. But Tom, you're telling us that that's not your experience with the bees.
Mind you, there's times when I open up a hive and I can tell by the tone of the hive, and it'll go from a dull buzz to a very, very amplified, just a louder buzz.
Really,
And
you could just hear it going.
you can just hear it just pick up, and at that
What's
point,
happening? They getting upset at you?
they're not in the mood for me.
They're not in the mood.
I feel that with some people sometimes.
You hear the buzz in the church sometimes,
I
you know?
feel the buzzing myself.
Oh, okay.
And at that point, they'll either become agitated with me, or you just know it's not a good. It's like a 2-year-old that's had too much candy. You just know it's time to put the covers back on and come back another day.
What are they called? Guard?
Guard bees are at the front of the hive. So I have 4 hives, and each bee will only come back to the hive that or their home hive. If they were to try and enter another hive, the guard bees will stop them. They will not let them in.
How will they stop? Will they just stand in front of them and they start stinging them, or what?
They have
They'll
hold
start
up a
to-
sign.
Well, an example, if a wasp will try and enter my hive, and I've seen, it's amazing to watch them, either a spider or a wasp, they will just ball up around that, either another bee or a wasp or a spider, and they will overheat. They'll just create enough heat to kill
Wow.
the insect that they don't want in their hive.
Wow.
Heat,
Heat.
not sting them.
Not sting them, no, because once they sting, it's over for the bee.
Yeah.
The bee venom itself is more poisonous than a snake venom because it's in such a small amount. It won't kill you. About 150 bees stings is what it takes to take out a person, is what I understand.
How often do you get stung?
On average, in a year, I get stung probably about 12 times.
What does that do to you at this point? Anything?
At this point, nothing. I've in the beginning, my hand or wherever I was stung would swell up severely and itch and carry on. In the beginning of the year, I was wondered how I was going to react, and I got stung in my forearm, and it swelled up for just a moment, for about a half hour, and I had no. I think I've developed enough of a tolerance, but it.
Wow. When they're regurgitating this honey, Because that's what we want. We want the
Yes.
for us,
Yes.
it's the honey. So it's coming out of them and going where? Dripping where? How do you get that?
It's going in, the hive is also preparing comb for the brood to be laid in, where the brood's laid, then they seal it off, and the same thing with the honey. The honey itself is at a higher moisture content. So the ones they produce the honey, they put it in the comb, they will not cap it or cover it over until it reaches about 17% humidity.
Because they read somewhere that that's the right amount, right?
That's what they read.
they read some kind of...
They read B today about the proper
B today.
the proper humidity. So normally if I pull honey and things like that, I only take what is called capped honey, and they seal it off. They seal it off with more wax, and that's the honey that I'm after is sealed honey.
Because it's ready. It's done.
It's ready. It's done. It's at 17%. It won't crystallize. It won't. It's good to go.
Do they mind if you take it?
They sure do. They sure do.
So you have to suit up for that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
And it's a process because one time I left a frame on my patio, and I left it sitting there. I thought, well, they'll leave it alone, and I'll come back in a few hours and bring it in the house and things like that. By the next morning, they uncapped and removed every drop of honey from that comb.
Wow.
And took it back?
In a matter of hours. They took it all back.
Wow.
And during the process, when I have comb that's capped, or the cappings, the part that I cut off to extract the honey, I'll put it back out in the bee yard, and they will clean that honey impeccably. That honey they will not have a drop of honey. They will account and bring back every morsel of honey they can get their hands on.
Honey is so sticky. How do you get it to where you want it to be?
I don't. Well, I extract it from the frames.
Yeah.
It spins. It's a 2-frame extractor, and you cut the front of the comb off, you cut the front off the honey, and then it exposes it. You put them in, slide them into an extractor, and spin. And after a couple of minutes, it extracts or it spins out the honey.
Centrifugal force.
Right.
Okay.
Flip them over, do it one more time, and you got honey. I strain it. I don't modify it. The only thing that I do is I'll filter it just to get out any small pieces of pollen or bee parts or foreign matter, but that's the extent of it.
Pretty amazing.
Any bee things that we haven't mentioned here in terms of what they do or other ages they're in or jobs they have? Because if this isn't the hand of God, right? If this isn't the hand of God.
We didn't talk. There's queen attendants, and the queen herself, she'll have her attendants take care of her. They either bring her water, bring her food. She has a fairly pampered life. If you requeen a hive, where years ago, I had for lack of a better term, a lazy queen. So I requeened the hive. I bought a new queen, and you put her in a queen cage, and you need the hive to accept her. So as long as they accept her, which is all pheromones is their acceptance, let her out of the cage and let her go to work.
Can I ask, what does it cost to buy a queen bee?
Typically, you'll spend between $35 and $50.
Okay, so you're not breaking the bank here.
If you want a artificially inseminated queen, you can spend $300 to $400.
Wow.
On a bee.
Wow.
Mind you, her genetics are guaranteed to be second to none. But
yeah.
And a box of bees is 10,000 bees, so that's that. How much is a box of bees?
A box of bees is $180.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Is this a growing industry?
I don't think it's a growing industry.
Because there are wives who say, no, honey, no, honey.
Do your neighbors get frustrated with this, knowing that there's bees all over the place?
No, the neighbors behind me have children, and they've walked over with their children. I got an open hive, and they're bringing the kids, not very close, but close, fairly close. And there's always some honey in for the neighbors.
We heard a story that fellow parishioner Heather doesn't live too far from you.
Right.
And she'll see bees in her backyard and go, oh, are you one of Tom's?
They'll travel up to 1.5 miles away.
Wow.
So we didn't talk about St. Ambrose of Milan.
Do it.
He was I guess I'll just read it because I don't have it to memory. The 4th century bishop known for eloquence. From legend, a swarm landed on him as a baby, leaving honey on his face. And from there, his father said that he would only speak sweet words.
Does that sound possible from your beekeeper mind?
No.
Yeah, didn't think so.
No.
Hey, it's a miracle. Come on.
It's a legend. So.
Yeah.
Love it.
Not sacred tradition quite, just legend.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, Tom, this has been fascinating, and I hope our parishioners can appreciate the variety of interests and talents that exist in our parish, even to this beekeeping.
Yeah.
You brought us some of your honey today, and I know I'm going to put it on my toast this morning. Do you sell it, or do you just make it and give it away? Are there ways that people can get in touch with you to try it?
I'm a parishioner right now. Those are my last 2 pounds until fall. I do sell some, yeah.
Okay.
I honestly don't. I'm a low volume producer. Last year I produced about 150 pounds.
Wow. Okay, that sounds significant.
Which is quite frankly is for 3 at that time I had 3 hives, and I'm not greedy. I don't take. Truth of the matter is the part of the reason the honey that they produce they need for the winter months, and that's how they need to eat over the winter because they obviously don't produce anything.
So if anyone's interested, can they just shoot me an email and I'll put them in touch with you?
They sure can.
Okay.
So it's my honey. I tell everybody it's from the hive to the bottle. There's nothing in between, and it's considered raw honey.
Okay.
And you can certainly buy it at local stores and things like that. But the taste of raw honey has it's not pasteurized or anything. It's a much different taste.
People should hear this. This is organic honey here.
And if we all get covered over by dirt for the next 2,000 years and they find the honey,
it's still good.
It's still good. That's the crazy thing. So wrap this up in your own preacherish way, or however you want to do this, in terms of God's hand in bees for you. What do you see?
I think it's truly amazing. I think if you look at bees and nature and everything, this just didn't happen on its own. This is not. You have to. There has to be a reason for it, and I look at 5 years ago. If you said I would, or 6 years ago, if you said I'd be having bees in my backyard, I would have laughed at you. And 5 years, if you told me that I'd be sitting here with 2 gentlemen from my church talking about bees on a Sunday morning, I would have never believed it. It's amazing where a box of bees have taken me in my life, and I contributed sometimes to the good Lord's hand. It's amazing that it's always good conversation, but I relish every moment. I enjoy every moment I have with them.
That's a different food, though. We'll get into relish next week on the podcast.
Well, Tom, thanks so much for joining us today, sharing a little bit of your story. It's been a pleasure. Why don't we give this over to the Queen Mother as we pray. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen. Tom, Trapper, and all of our listeners, may Almighty God bless you, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.